Hello everybody, Hello for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new video. So Vjump leaked, and we got a lot of news to go over. I know I'm a bit late, but yeah, finals are killing me right now. But anyways, so let's get on with the news. So first and foremost is the cover card of Flames of Destruction, the set after Extreme Force, and the upcoming set that Japan's getting here shortly. We're gonna have to wait a bit, which really sucks because there's a lot of cool stuff in this set from the looks of it. And most prominently is a cover card, which is Topologic Taurus Bana. So they're running with more Topologic cards, apparently. So I guess part of Revolver stuff is going to be like Topologic cards and just general Dragon support, because, well, we got some other stuff which is interesting, and just generic Dragon stuff and not so much Rocket stuff, which is intriguing and very odd, because normally whenever a character has like a mix of an archetype and generic cards, as time goes on, they phase out the generic cards in favor of being entirely focused on that archetype. So the fact that Revolver's still doing generic with rockets is incredibly intriguing to me, and I can't wait to see how they kind of make it all work together. But anyways, Topologic Taurus Bana, he's a Link 3 Dark Cybers, Link effect monster, 2500 attack, and then has top, left, right arrows, so basically the same as Deco Talker. Needs 2 or more effect monsters, so he's pretty easy to summon. If a monster is special into his zone discard points to, banish that monster and as many spell and trap cards on the field as possible. And if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each of those cards banished. Sorry, each of their cards banished. So it's a really powerful card. It's a Harpy's Feather Duster / Heavy Storm. Gets rid of all spells and traps and banishes them, and can really screw over your opponent. And the interesting thing is that it's anytime a monster is special summon, it's not once per turn. It's just like Topologic Bomber Dragon, where it's a mandatory not once per turn effect, where, oh hey, even if you like forcibly trigger it the first time, you're still going to have to do it every single time afterwards, which is very annoying. So that basically means you're never going to be summoning an extra deck monster to discards of zones unless that monster can't be banished or something. Or something like that, or maybe if it like benefits off of being banished, I don't know. Still, an incredibly powerful card. I don't think he's going to replace Deco Talker like some people are saying. I think he's going to be kind of like put into decks that can use him. I think he's going to become a definite main extra deck staple as a one of, just because he can wipe the whole back row, which is really good. And it just dawned on me. Sorry guys if like my voice sounds odd. I've been getting sick. I had to babysit my niece since she was sick, and I think I got sick from her, and that's always fun. But seriously though, this thing is just so cool looking. I love it. No idea like how what's a Taurus Bana is. I know some people are like debating on that on the forums. And then we got these 3 cards, which I'm going to take a wild guess and say are all Revolvers cards, because Dark Dragons, and then this just screams like a Revolver card over here. But anyway, so we got some more Dark Dragon support. Devpro Dragon, a level 3 Dark Dragon, this dude over here. 1000 attack, 600 defense. You can only special summon a card with this card's name once, with the way it is written, first effect once per turn. So you can only summon it by its first effect once per turn. And you can only use the second effect once per turn. So you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other monster from your hand to the graveyard. Pretty good, honestly, for getting him out on the field easily, making more Link and Xyz plays and stuff. And then if he's in your graveyard, you can banish 3 monsters of the same name except this card from your graveyard. Special summon this card from the graveyard. So this, and also the other monster who we'll get to here in a second, remind me a lot of Sniffer Dragon in Circuit Break, I think it was. And Sniffer Dragon is an okay card. He summons, whenever he's summoned, he searches out another copy of himself. So I wonder if like these Dark Dragon generic monsters, which all seem to share like some similarities and stuff, are all going to be like part of another archetype or something. Like obviously it's not like an actual archetype, but like series or something like Revolver's playing. So then we got Background Dragon, which is an odd name because he's not in the background, he's in the foreground. But he's a level 5 Dark Dragon. Effect monster, 1600 attack, 1800 defense. You can only use this card's name once per turn. So then, if this card is in your graveyard and control no cards, you can special summon this card in defense, both this card and 1 level 4 lower dragon from your hand. And if you do, banish this card if it leaves the field. So, really good card in general. Just being able to pitch them in a graveyard with Devpro Dragon, and then, like, let's say your opponent, like, let's say you start making, like, some combos or something, and your opponent torrentials or something, you control no cards, you can use your background dragon to bring him back from the graveyard, along with a monster from your hand, so, like, you can bring out a Sniffer Dragon. Sniffer Dragon will then get a search to search out another copy of himself. Then you can, like, normal summon Gateway Dragon, use Gateway Dragon's effect special and summon something else, and then go for a big link play. So, really, really, really interesting. I think between Background Dragon, Devpro Dragon, Gateway Dragon, and Sniffer Dragon, there's something there that you can do as an archetype or something. I don't know. Like maybe as a full deck. Or maybe it's just entirely there to supplement Rockets to easily make Borreload. Because Rockets don't exactly have the easiest time making Borreload. But still, really cool cards. And then we got Red Reboot, which I gotta say, I like the concept of this card as like an emergency panic button, because that's basically what it is. So you can activate this card from your hand by paying half your life points. It seems like that's the only way that Konami can make any kind of traps relevant anymore nowadays, by making it to where they can activate from your hand, which is pretty sad. So you can activate this counter trap from your hand by paying half your life points. When your opponent activates a trap card, your opponent cannot activate trap cards for the rest of this turn. Also negate that activation, and if you do, set it on the field. Then your opponent can take 1 trap card from their deck and set it to their spell and trap card zone. So this just screams, oh crap, my opponent's trying to evenly match me. Haha, no. And then you get another card, so you get to banish even less cards next time you try it. Really, really, really good card. I don't know how much people are going to play it. I guess it really depends on if evenly matched gets hit or not in the future. You can also, of course, stop Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment, stuff like that. So it's a really, really, really powerful card. I really like this card. It's going to be a definite side deck, maybe even main deck card. Also, it's a common, and with this powerful of an effect, it's going to be secret rare over here. Like, let's be honest. And then we got some more Trickstar cards, and actually we got a lot of Trickstar cards to talk about, which I'm excited for because I'm a huge fan of Trickstars. I actually just took them to the most recent regional that I went to. Didn't do the greatest at, but oh well, that's just my luck. And I really like these cards. I like these two. The Field Spell I like, but it just is so underpowered compared to Light Stage, which, let's get on to it. So, first card we got to talk about is the Link 1 Trickstar Bloom, which is just absolutely adorable. So, these cards are all in Flames of Destruction, so that means, good lord, that's 2 Link monsters, 3 main deck monsters, and a Field Spell that they're getting in Flames of Destruction. That's just what we know about. That's, what, 6 cards? Oh my god, and then there's a bunch of stuff in the Frames box over in Japan for this. I really, really am excited for these. Because it seems like Konami's really pushing the Trickstars. And also the Gokis, as we'll see in a bit later. So Trickstar Bloom, Link 1, Light Fairy, Link Effect Monster, Attack 100, points bottom, which is pretty obvious for Link 1. So for material, it's a level 2 or lower Trickstar monster. So the most obvious one is going to be Lilybell, because that's the most prevalent one played. That's, well, level 2 or lower. But then there's also, I think Mandrake's a level 1, and then the other one that's like also being in the set is level 2 or something like that. Basically, the Trickstars that are focused on the Link summoning aspect that are being released in Flames of Destruction can go into this super easily. So you can only use this card's second effect once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can activate this effect. Your opponent draws 1 card, which obviously is supposed to go in tandem with like Chorus and Trickstar Reincarnation, so that you can then, well, just do more burn damage to your opponent. Then its second effect is if a Trickstar monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card they have in their hand. So obviously this is just trying to be another way to burn your opponent for each card in their hand, while also not trying to be overly powerful like with, well, Trickstar like Chorus. So really, really good card overall. I wish she had a bit more of an protective effect, being a Link 1 with 100 attack. I think that the big thing is that, like, you're going to want to make her summon out some Trickstar monsters underneath her, at least one obviously, because you can only put one underneath her directly. Go and crash into something, battle phase, inflict a bunch of burn damage to your opponent, possibly even some battle damage. Then main phase 2, use her to link up into something bigger, like for instance Holly Angel or Bloody Mary, I think is what her name is, the other good one. And then for the field spell, we got Trickstar Light Arena. So this card, if you link summon a Trickstar monster, you can target one Trickstar monster in a graveyard that was used as material for that summon. Special summon it in defense position, but its effects are negated. So this card, and then it also, well, I better finish the full effect. It has the same effect as Light Stage, where you can target a set card in your opponent's spell and trap card zone, and then while this card is in your field zone, that set card cannot be activated until the end phase, and your opponent must either activate it or send it. Oh, it returns it to their hand. I thought it sent it to the graveyard. But yeah, it's basically the same effect as Light Stage, but slightly less powerful because it actually returns the card to their hand, which, well, isn't as good as just getting rid of it permanently. So this card obviously was made to focus on the link aspect of the deck, which the deck really hasn't focused on very much at all. Like, I mean, heck, right now Trickstars almost never link summon. I think over at the regional I made Holly Angel once just to beat over a Spiral Double Helix, which was sad, but oh well, had to. And so really, in all honesty, the deck really does not link summon that much at the moment, but with what Konami is giving it in the Flames of Destruction set, as well as also in the Link Frames box, as we'll get to here shortly, they are really trying to push the Link aspect and trying to move away from the burn aspect while also kind of keeping it there really as just more of a side part of the deck and really focus more on the Link aspect, which I kind of like, but at the same time I don't like because it really feels like they're just going against the original concept of the deck. My big thing with Light Arena is that it does not do anything nearly as good as Light Stage. There is no reason to run this card over Light Stage. Like, end of story. Light Stage on activation lets you search. It adds extra 200 damage to your burn, and also it permanently gets rid of the set card because it sends it to the graveyard. This returns it to the hand. There is literally no reason to run Light Arena unless Light Stage gets hit or the Link focused builds become so prevalent that you got to play both Light Stage and Light Arena. I don't see that happening though. Now that being said though, Light Arena could have been a lot better. Like, honestly, if they had even just tacked on the, do 200 more damage every time your opponent takes effect damage from a Trickstar monster, that would have been nice, but they didn't do that. And it just really feels underwhelming compared to Light Stage. Now then, we got Trickstar Shaku, okay, dear lord, Shakunage. Apparently it's pronounced like age and corsage, or, corsage. So then it's Shakunage. Okay, Trickstar oh wait, where'd the picture go? Trickstar Shakunage. Shakugan no Shana. So yeah, it's this card right here, level 4, 1400, 1900. Pretty decent stats overall. Wish the attack and defense were swapped because the deck needs another beater, but oh well. Level 4, already covered its stats. You can discard a Trickstar card, then target a Trickstar Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So, right in and there, I freaking love this first effect. While yes, it's a hard once per turn, it's such a great card effect because, oh hey, you can just pitch a Trickstar in your hand that you don't really care about. Or, for instance, the one that summons itself whenever it's pitched from the hand. I can't remember her name. I think it's Mandrake. It's one of the two that was revealed last month. So you can pitch that card, target a Trickstar in your graveyard, that's a Link monster, and then special summon it. Really good effect right there. And then it has pretty standard burn effect. Each time a card is banished from your opponent's graveyard, inflict 200 damage to them for each. So if you're doing against Lightstorm and you have this card out and your opponent summons Snow, then they're going to take 1400 damage if they banish all 7 cards from the graveyard. That's really good. I like this card a lot, mostly for the first effect. I feel like that for the Link-focused version of Trickstars, I think that really, honestly, Trickstars are going to divulge into 2 builds. One that's focused on the burn aspect, and one that's focused on the Link aspect, and I feel like that for the Link aspect of the deck, that this card is going to be really integral because you can bring back your monsters. You can pitch the one that summons itself back whenever it's pitched from the hand. I can't remember which Trickstar that is. And then also, of course, just being able to combo off more. And, like, heck, if your Bella Madonna dies, you can bring her back. I can't remember if Bella Madonna needs to be Link summoned to be unaffected by stuff or anything. But still, you can bring back all your Trickstar Link monsters. Really great effect. I like it. And then here's something I never thought I would see. They freaking made Elemental Lord an archetype. with their own little sub-archetype that supports them called the Element Sabers. So, for those who don't remember, or for those who got into the game afterwards, way back in, I believe, the Zexal era, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Zexal era, so 2 eras ago in Yu-Gi-Oh!, we had a series of 4 monsters called the Elemental Lords. There was Mulan Glacia, Grand Soil, Pyrorex, and Windrose. Each one of them all had the same effects of being that you cannot normal summon or set them, and that you can spell summon them from your hand, provided you have exactly 5 cards of their respective attribute in the graveyard. And then they had another common effect where, oh hey, if they died, you skip your next battle phase. And then they also all had the effect of a banned card, or at least a card that was banned at the time, or has been previously banned. Grand Soil's Monster Reborn, Windrose is Harpy's Feather Duster, Moonlight Glacier's Delinquent Duo, and Pyrorex's Ring of Destruction. And they were all really cool cards, but really honestly, the only ones that were meta relevant were Grand Soil and Moonlight Glacier, because Grand Soil, before his errata to become a hard once per turn, was integral to a crap ton of incredibly powerful, incredibly obnoxious FTKs and OTKs. Not to mention, there's just was so many good Earth decks at the time. Moonland Glacier was very competitive in the Mermail deck at the time, and heck, even still is played in Mermails a lot of time nowadays. So them going back and making this a whole archetype and giving us a light one, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say they're going to give us a dark one later too, really is incredibly intriguing, especially since it's been so long since the original 4 came out. And I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with this deck overall, because what we've got so far looks to be incredibly interesting. I don't think that what we've got so far is going to be anything meta relevant, but it does look to be really powerful. So, enough rambling and like recapping. First and foremost, let's talk about the new Elemental Lord, Phosphorage, the Elemental Lord. He's a level 8, like, fairy special summon effect monster. Okay, so I don't really get why Konami in Japan does this, but like they'll put special summon in the name, like in the card text, if it can only be summoned by special summon. It's really silly. So attack 2800, defense 22. I believe every single Elemental Lord has that same stats. Same thing with the level 8. Actually, I thought the others were level 10. Let's check that real quick. I'm curious. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I got bored and decided to mess around with full power dragon rulers. Elemental Lord. Okay, so, oh wow, they are all level 8. I thought they were level 10. Oh wow, that makes trade-in really good in this deck then. Huh. Okay, so they're all level 8, 2800, 2200. So then, as the same standard effect, must be special summoned from your hand by having exactly 5 light monsters in your graveyard. You can only use this first effect once per turn. When this card is special summoned, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So he has Regeki's effect, which is really powerful, and I really like that. I can't tell what the heck is up with this artwork. I thought he was a Thunderbird, but honestly he looks more like a Thunder Robot. And then, of course, he has the same effect as the others. If this face-up card leaves the field, skip the battle phase of your next turn. Pretty cool card overall. I like him a lot. And then we got the first Element Saber. Element Saber Willard. I don't know why, but whenever I read the name Willard, I immediately think of, if I remember right, Jack and Daxter had this really stupid character named Willard, who was a miner. I might be getting his name mixed up with Leonard. I can't remember, but I always remember that. So anyways, Light Warrior effect monster, level 6, 2400 attack, 2100 defense. Pretty good stats all around. Basically Monarch stats, really, but more defense. So you can only use this card's first effect once per turn. It's a hard once per turn. You can send 2 other monsters from your hand to the graveyard. Spell summon this card from your hand. While this card is in the monster zone, apply the following to Element Saber and the Elemental Lord monsters you control according to the original attributes of the Element Saber monsters sent to the graveyard to activate this effect. To activate this card's first effect, I mean. So, Earth and Wind, they cannot be destroyed by battle. Water and Fire, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. And Light and Dark, excuse me, they cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. So, I gotta read some rulings on this. Like, big time. So obviously that does mean we are going to get some dark ones. So then we're probably going to get a Dark Elemental Lord in this set as well, because well, it says dark right there, and it refers to specifically Element Saber and Elemental Lords. But I wonder if you have to send these specific combinations, or like just these. Oh yeah, both those attributes trigger this part, and both those attributes trigger that part, and both these attributes trigger that part. So then, if that's the case, if you send like the Wind and Fire one, you can all your Elemental Sabers and all your Elemental Lords. I cannot speak today. Cannot be destroyed with battle or card effects, which is really, really, really powerful. I like this card a lot. He's going to be really, really good for the deck, and I can't wait to see what Konami just does with this in general. Because we got four main deck monsters and one spell and trap for the deck so far, along with the new Elemental Lord. So it's going to be incredibly intriguing to see what they do with the Dark Elemental Lord and the Dark Element Saber. So now then, here's the 3 new Element Sabers other than the other dude. So we got Element Saber Makani, who's a level 2 Wind Warrior effect monster, 1300 attack, 1200 defense. That's that one there. I can't tell if that's a boy or a girl. I'm pretty sure it's a girl, but considering these are boys, I'm gonna take a... Oh wait. I don't know. Anyways, 1300 attack, 1200 defense. Once per turn, you can send an Element Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard. Add an Element Saber or Elemental Lord monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. Really, really good effect there. Just loading up your graveyard so you can then summon the Elemental Lords, and also being able to get one or another Element Saber from your deck to your hand is just really, really good. And then once per turn while it's in the graveyard, you can declare an attribute. Until the end of this turn, the attribute of discard in the graveyard becomes the declared attribute. Every single Element Saber, other than Willard, has this effect. So really, really, really good, just because, oh, hey, you got 4 lights. You need one more? Okay, cool. Just turn one of them into a light so you can then summon out Phosphorage. So really interesting. Then we got Element Saber Malo, or Mallow. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Level 3 Fire Warrior effect monster, 1700 attack, 200 defense. I'm really liking the fact that these are warriors, because then you can really capitalize on the vast amount of warrior support cards out there, because, well, you got like stuff like reinforcements of the army, warrior returning alive, which I don't think anybody will play, but you never know, especially with this deck, since you might have too many monsters of an attribute in your graveyard, and oh hey, even with rearranging their attributes around, you might get screwed over. It's just a bunch of other warrior focused stuff out there. I wish they were level 4, not 3, though, because there's a ton of good rank 4 warrior base XYZs. But anyway, so this guy, he has the same effect in the grave as the others, obviously. And then once per turn, you can send a Element Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard. Send one Element Saber or Elemental Lord monster from your deck to the graveyard, except himself. So obviously, that is just supposed to load up your graveyard even more. Really, really good stats, really good effect, everything. And A has 200 defense, so you can use Rekindling on him. Oh god, I just realized that. Okay, so next up we got Element Saber Lapavilla, level 4 light warrior effect monster. So here's a level 4. I wonder if the dark one's gonna be level 4 too. 400 attack, 2100 defense. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, you can send one Element Saber monster from your hand to the graveyard. Negate that activation, and if you do, destroy it. So arguably the best one, other than the Searcher. Just because of the simple fact that if your opponent tries to activate something like Regeki, Dark Hole, in order to Kaiju Slumber, anything that could possibly destroy your stuff, or heck, any spell and trap cards, you can just pitch an Element Saber from your hand and negate activation and destroy it. So, really good effect. Kind of wish the stats were reversed, but oh well. 2100 defense, nothing to really laugh at. But anyways, moving on. So then we got the spell and trap card, Elemental Training, which is this card here. And I guess that's supposed to be Willard, like maybe he's turning into the Elemental Lord, or, I mean, like you can see the Elemental Lord, the light one, right behind him, so I don't really get what's going on. And then the spell card, which is a field spell, which is really good, obviously. I love it how the pillars here appear to have, designs based off of the various Elemental Lords, which is just really, really cool. I like that. So now then, Elemental Training, continuous trap card. While this card is in the spell and trap card zone, Temple of the Elemental Lords discard. You control cannot be destroyed by card effects and cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So you don't have to worry about it getting destroyed by like Twin Twist or anything, and you don't have to worry about it getting targeted by Cosmic Cyclone. Really, really, really good. Once per turn, you contribute one monster special summon from your deck, one element saber monster of a different original attribute than attributed monster. So like you can normal summon out Machini, effect, pitch, search out Willard, activate this card, tribute Machini, special summon Lapavilla, so that then you don't have to worry about, well, your stuff getting destroyed or interrupted by spells and traps. And then, as a third effect, you can send a face-up card in your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, discard your hand, and add one elemental lord monster from your graveyard to the hand, equal to the number of cards you discarded. So, if, like, let's say you have, presumably they're going to release a dark one, and you have all 6 elemental lords in your graveyard, and you have 6 cards in hand, you can send this card to the graveyard, send all 6 cards in your hand to the graveyard, add all 6 elemental lords to your hand, and potentially just go off on a stupid huge combo and screw over your opponent. Now, obviously, that's never going to come up. Really, honestly, you're probably going to be getting 1 to 2 cards off of this card back to your hand, because with how much discarding the deck does have, this card's really not going to have that many cards in your hand to be really, really good discard fodder for bringing back the elemental lords to your hand. So, still, really good for being able to recur the elemental lords from your graveyard. Temple of the Elemental Lords is the field spell. Monsters you control gain 200 attack and defense for every attribute amongst monsters in your graveyard. So, like, before going into battle phase, even if you don't have the ability to summon an Elemental Lord, you would obviously be able to use the various Element Sabers effects in your graveyards to make them all different attributes so they can gain potentially up to 1200 attack, which, heck, that makes any of the Elemental Lords 4k, which is scary. Once per turn, you can add one Element Saber monster from your deck to your hand and skip the battle phase of your next turn. So obviously it goes along with the theming of the Elemental Lords. Once per turn, if an Element Saber monster you control or have in your hand would activate its effects by sending a card from your hand to the graveyard, you can send an Element Saber monster from your deck to the graveyard instead. So this is obviously to make it to where you don't have to exhaust your hand as much as you would with everything else. So really, really, really good card in general. I like it. It's a very powerful field spell. Very, very good for the deck. And with the trap card out, it makes it even better because you don't have to worry about it getting, well, blown up or anything. So very, very powerful field spell. And then we got some miscellaneous stuff. Monarchs are getting a new equip spell, which is just very obnoxious. I really should have expected that Monarchs would get more support sooner or later because, well, they're Monarchs. They're one of the most popular archetypes in the game. And good lord, I love this artwork. So it's like Ether coming down, or I think that's Ether, the big level 8 light one coming down from, I would guess, heaven into a destroyed city, which just adds so much like interesting stuff to the lore of the Monarchs. But still really beautiful artwork. And then we got a Metal Gear. So really, really interesting. So the Monarchs reinvent equip spell card. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. Activate this card by targeting a monster in graveyard with either 2400 attack and 2400 attack and 1000 defense, or 2800 attack and 1000 defense. I don't know why I didn't just say a Monarch or a Mega Monarch monster, or heck, even just a Monarch monster. That would have saved so much space. Special summon it in defense position, and if you do, equip it with this card, but the monster's effects are negated. So it's a premature burial for Monarchs that has them summoned in defense position and their effects are negated. But the big thing is that that monster can be treated as 2 tributes for a tribute summon. So then if you have a dead Monarch in your hand, like especially a Mega Monarch, and you can't do much with it, but let's say you have a Caius in your graveyard, you can activate this, bring back Caius, tribute off that Caius for, well, one of the big Mega Monarchs. Really, really good effect overall. I don't know how many people are going to, I don't know how many copies this is going to get played in the deck, but still really good card. And then we got the Metal Gear Taimatan, the Steel Battalion Dragon. Hopefully better than the actual Steel Battalion video games. At least I think that's what they're called. I don't remember. Those crappy video games made by From Software. So, Taimatan, the Steel Battalion Dragon. Level 4 Dark Dragon, effect monster, 2k attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by this card's first effect, and you can only use its first effect once per turn. So if 3 or more cards are in the same column, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, destroy all cards in this card's column. Well, the other cards, other than itself. While this card is in the monster zone, unused zones in this card's column cannot be used. So it's a quick effect, and let's say your opponent has a set back row, summons a monster, and then summons a monster in a link zone, and Oh, hey, 3 cards in that zone. Okay, so you just summon your monster before you even get a chance to use your double helix's effect. I activate tie automaton, special summon him from my hand, and nuke all 3 of those cards, and then you can't use any of them in any cards of those zones. Which then means that if I go and make a monster in the other extra monster zone, then oh hey, my opponent can't use the extra monster zone, period. It's really, really stupid. This thing has good stats and good effect. It's a really good hand trap. Makes sense as to why it's an ultra in Japan. I get the feeling it might be a secret over in TCG. I kind of want to see it as a secret rare. With that artwork, I feel like it'd be a really good looking secret rare. But you never really know with Konami anymore. So guys, I think I'm going to wrap that up for this video. This is a half-an-hour video already. Going to talk about the Link Frames box and the Vjump premium pack stuff in another video, because this is half an hour and my voice is killing me. I need a break. So guys, what are your guys' thoughts on the Flames of Destruction leaks? I really, really, really like this stuff. It looks all really cool. I can't wait to mess around with the Elemental Lord archetype. Very, very intriguing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. Peace out and